Well, my grandfather is remarkable in a lot of ways, and one of them is that he has spent almost 2 years in hospice, and that time for him and for all of us has been a time of reflection. And so we've been looking at this, and we weren't sure when the day would come, but the fact that it's here and that we're talking about it on New Year's Eve is a great way to reflect back on this remarkable legacy and to look to the future as well. Yeah, one of the great gifts that my grandparents gave to us is they hosted essentially a Carter family trip for about 40 years, and we always had it over New Year's. So some of my best memories of them are celebrating on this day, and so this was sort of one of his last gifts to us is that the entire family is all going to get together this week again and be there with each other and to, of course, celebrate this remarkable life that he had. in a lot of ways, some of it was just leading by example, right? I watched him get so enriched by the time that he spent in different places around the world. When I graduated from college, I asked him what he thought I should do, and he said, "I think you should go to the Peace Corps in Africa." So I did that, and of course, I'm a lawyer now, and I spend a lot of time doing that. But it's always a part of supporting human rights and democracy, and then obviously I got into politics in Georgia in the old days now, a decade ago. And it was important for me to share that with him, and then to share the work of the Carter Center with him as I've been the chair of the board for the last several years. That was been a real blessing for me. Oh, yeah, number one, he wasn't a great campaigner. He did get elected president of the United States. I think my grandmother was really the great politician in the family, however. But no, it's different eras. Different eras. When I ran for governor, it was all fundraisers and media buys. And when he ran for governor, he shook 600,000 hands. Right? It was just a different era. But the thing he taught me about politics that sometimes gets lost is you can be a person like him who doesn't change, who stays who they are, who stays true to their principles and their beliefs despite all of the temptations of politics. And it's just good to know that that person can exist in this world. Yeah, certainly frugal. My grandparents moved back to the same house that they lived in before the White House. And it's, a tiny country house in Plains, Georgia. They never changed a thing down there. As we've said repeatedly, they have a microwave oven that you dial up and it ticks down, tick, tick, tick. It's unbelievable. It's probably 40 years old. And why change it if it still works, right? They had that Depression era belief in not changing things. And he made a lot of furniture himself. He was a country guy, and my memories of him are like memories of other people's grandfathers. Going fishing, going to the Braves games. It's remarkable how regular they were. Really. Yeah. They were married for 77 years. And that's just an incredible blessing, right? There's a lot of health luck involved in that. But there's also a lot of faith and love and excitement for each other. I think, as you mentioned, he lived a long time. My two children are 18 and 16. So they knew their great grandfather, really well, and got to see him live out his values in a variety of ways. And so, I think he really just opened himself up to the world over these last 40 years after the presidency. And I think we've all been heartened to see this outpouring of love and support come back over these last few days, and really over these last couple of years since he's been in hospice, as we've all sort of as a global community been reflecting on his legacy. But for us in the family, of course, he was a rock for us, but and we all know that because of the extent to which he shared himself with the rest of the world, a lot of people in this world are out there carrying on his legacy. So it doesn't fall to any of us in particular, and that's a heartening thing because it would be very difficult to live up to if you tried.